the wording on this is credit to them. Caitlin Clark, back, fist to the throat, ruled out for Saturday. And Stephanie White did confirm that, by the way. And she's made several comments. It makes you want to puke throughout.
Watch that carefully. The team president confirmed Caitlin Clark is out. Back injury, fist to the throat, ruled out for Saturday's CBS primetime game. And listen to how casually Stephanie White delivers that news. Health and wellness, precautionary, all the corporate speak you'd expect. But here's what she's not saying, and what the entire WNBA fan base is screaming right now.
And see what happens. I mean, you know, it's the same thing. Long-term health and wellness is the most important thing.
Consider this precautionary. Like, is there any chance she could have played tomorrow? Or is there pain? How would you describe the decision?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that, again, we want her to be healthy, physically, mentally, emotionally, all the things. And, you know, I think it's important to remember, again, when you've gone through injury and the traumatic aspect of injury, especially that she had last year, it's ups and downs, you know, physically, mentally, emotionally, and making sure that she's 100% ready to go is the most important thing, and her taking care of that is priority for us.
There it is. Physical, mental, emotional health. The traumatic aspect of injury. She's talking about Caitlin Clark like she just survived a car accident, not a basketball game. And maybe that's accurate, because what happened on that court wasn't basketball. Former NFL reporter Michelle Tafoya called it assault, not a hard foul, not aggressive defense. Assault on a basketball court in front of officials who somehow saw nothing. Now here's where this gets serious. The player who threw that punch, Alyssa Thomas, received a 1-game suspension. 1 game for what multiple analysts are calling one of the most blatant acts of violence in WNBA history. And the Indiana Fever's response? Team president Kelly Krauskopf released a statement thanking the WNBA for their handling of the situation, thanking them for a 1-game suspension.
Pond scum. But once again, you got this incestuous intertwining, leg scissoring amongst members of the league. I mean, hell, Stephanie White's her old coach, for Christ's sakes. Everywhere Caitlin Clark turns, it's agenda in her face continuously. This is Stephanie White on her having coached Alyssa Thomas previously.
Did you catch that? Stephanie White says she didn't see it in real time. She was surprised when she went back and watched it. More surprised that the officials didn't see it. And then comes the kicker. There's a level of physicality they're able to play with against her. They, not opponents. Not other teams. They, as if it's a coordinated effort. As if the entire league has tacitly agreed that Caitlin Clark can be treated differently than every other player. Now let's be specific about what happened here. This wasn't an incidental contact situation. This wasn't a player losing balance and accidentally making contact. Alyssa Thomas, a veteran player who's been in this league for years, threw a closed fist directly at Caitlin Clark's throat. The kind of action that would get you ejected from a pickup game at your local YMCA. The kind of action that would result in criminal charges if it happened on the street and in the WNBA. 1-game suspension.
They're able to play with against her. You know, I knew it as an opponent.
I'm sorry, but when she comes out and says, I didn't see it, well, all I can think of is Maury Povich. That's a lie. I don't believe you. I don't believe you. Stephanie White, I don't. A little reaction. No Caitlin, no party. Dave Portnoy. No shit.
There's the connection nobody wants to talk about. Stephanie White previously coached Alyssa Thomas in Connecticut. She knows her. They have history, professional relationships, and now she's supposed to be the one protecting Caitlin Clark from that same player. You see the conflict here? This is what happens when you have a league so small, so insular, that everyone has coached everyone, dated everyone, or played with everyone at some point. There's no objectivity left. Just a web of personal relationships that makes it impossible to hold anyone accountable. And the fans are noticing. Social media is exploding with calls for a boycott, not just angry tweets, organized deliberate discussions about refusing to watch Indiana Fever games until the league takes player safety seriously. Saturday's game is on CBS in primetime, national broadcast. The kind of exposure the WNBA has been desperate for, and their biggest star is sitting out because the league failed to protect her.
I can't wait to see the poor viewership of this game. I bet attendance is down. I'm telling you right now. People are talking, look, boycott. The game is on CBS in primetime. It would be a shame if the ratings suffered. I'm sure CBS is thrilled. If I was CBS, I'd have my entire foot and leg up Kathy Engelbert's ass to my knee. Furious.
Look at those reactions. David Clark, retired Milwaukee County Sheriff, drawing the comparison everyone's thinking but afraid to say. Jackie Robinson faced hostility when he broke baseball's color barrier. But imagine if Major League Baseball had shrugged and said, well, that's just the level of physicality they're allowed to play with against him. The league would have been destroyed. The sport would have died. You cannot build a sustainable business model on allowing your stars to be targeted with violence. Dave Portnoy said it plainly, no Caitlyn, no party. And he's right. The attendance numbers prove it. The television ratings prove it. When Caitlyn Clark plays, arenas sell out. When she sits, they're half empty. CBS didn't pay for broadcast rights to watch the Connecticut Sun play the Indiana Fever without Caitlyn Clark. They paid to broadcast Caitlyn Clark, and now she's out because the league won't protect her. Here's what makes this situation critical. This isn't just about one incident. This is about a pattern that's been building since Caitlyn Clark entered the league. The cheap shots, the flagrant fouls that somehow don't get called, the physical intimidation that officials consistently ignore. And every time it happens, the league's response is the same corporate non-response. Player safety is our top priority. We take these matters seriously, and then nothing changes. The appropriate suspension for what Alyssa Thomas did? Somewhere between 10 games and the rest of the season. That's not hyperbole. That's what you do when you want to send a message that intentional violence will not be tolerated. One game is a joke. One game says, yeah, we saw it, but we don't really care. One game says, go ahead and take your shot at our biggest star. The consequences are minimal. Think about this from a business perspective. The WNBA just signed new media rights deals worth millions of dollars. Those deals were negotiated based on projected viewership numbers, and those projections were based almost entirely on Caitlyn Clark's drawing power. She's the reason casual fans tune in. She's the reason arenas that used to be empty are now selling out. She's the reason companies are suddenly interested in WNBA sponsorships. And the league is treating her like she's expendable. CBS has to be furious right now. They carved out primetime Saturday night programming for this game. They promoted it. They built their weekend schedule around it. And now their marquee attraction is sitting out because the league failed to protect her from an assault that happened right in front of 3 officials. If you're a CBS executive, you're on the phone with WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert asking very pointed questions about what exactly you paid for. The fan reaction tells you everything you need to know about how serious this is. These aren't just casual viewers saying they might skip a game. These are dedicated fans talking about organized boycotts, coordinated efforts to tank the ratings, not because they don't care about the sport, but because they care too much to watch it destroy itself. They're watching the league systematically alienate the one player who could actually make the WNBA sustainable. And here's the part that should terrify league executives. Once you lose these fans, you don't get them back. Caitlyn Clark brought millions of new viewers to the WNBA. People who never watched women's basketball before. People who might have become long-term fans if the product was good and the league was competently run. But if their first impression is watching their favorite player get assaulted while officials look the other way, they're gone. Permanently. Stephanie White's comments about not seeing it in real time are particularly galling. She's the head coach. Her job is to see everything that happens to her players on the court. And even if we accept that she somehow missed it live, her response after watching the replay is to shrug and talk about the level of physicality they allow against Caitlyn. Not outrage, not demanding better protection, just acceptance that this is how things are. Kelly Krauskopf thanking the WNBA for their handling of this situation is even worse. The team president's primary responsibility is protecting the franchise's interests, and the franchise's interests are directly tied to keeping Caitlyn Clark healthy and on the court. A one-game suspension for the player who put your star out of action is not something you thank the league for. It's something you fight against publicly and loudly, but they won't fight because of those relationships, because Stephanie White used to coach in Connecticut, because Kelly Krauskopf has worked in the league for years and doesn't want to rock the boat, because maintaining good relationships with other teams and league officials is more important than protecting their own player. That's the culture that's killing this league. The boycott movement is real. Fans are posting screenshots of canceled League Pass subscriptions. They're organizing on social media to coordinate their absence from Saturday's game. They're telling each other not to watch, not to attend, not to engage with any WNBA content until the league takes meaningful action. And you know what? They're right to do it, because the only language the WNBA understands is money and ratings. If you want change, you have to hit them where it hurts. Saturday's game will be a test. Will the ratings collapse without Caitlin Clark? Will the arena be half empty? Will the league finally realize that their entire business model depends on protecting the one player they keep failing to protect? Or will they look at the numbers, shrug, and continue pretending everything is fine while their most valuable asset gets targeted with violence? So here's the question for you. Would you watch Saturday's game? Would you tune in to watch the Indiana Fever without Caitlin Clark, knowing she's sitting out because the league won't protect her from assault? Or would you join the boycott and send a message that this is unacceptable? Because one of those choices might actually force the WNBA to change, and the other guarantees more of the same. Drop your answer in the comments, hit subscribe if you want to see how this plays out, and let's see if the league is paying attention to anything other than their own talking points.